reforming the tax code and cutting spending, the president wants to raise tax rates. But even if the president got the tax rate hike that he wanted, understand that we would continue to see trillion-dollar deficits for as far as the eye can see.
What is lacking are the revenues. You cannot cut your way to deficit reduction. What does reduce the deficit are jobs, job creation. Have the spending cuts, we have the Medicare savings. What we need are the revenues.
It's clear that his economic proposals, the fiscal proposals, won't do anything about debt. And it's clear that his pretense that we're going to have to, that you can't get to the tax hikes he wants through raising rates, without raising rates. He contradicts himself. He said exactly the opposite a year ago. So all of this is about the politics of it. He thinks he won the election, and now he can use the crisis over the fiscal cliff to force Republicans to go against the position they've had for 20 years, like a Bush Sr. with read my lips, and essentially create a civil war among Republicans. And the fact is, someone here said the ball is in the president's court. He's holding the ball and he's not serving it. They haven't offered anything. They have stood exactly in the same place. Geithner makes a completely unserious offer that McConnell actually laughed at because it was so outrageous, essentially he wants everything out of Republicans, offers nothing in reductions in entitlements or in discretionary spending. And they walk away, and they won't, I assure you, they're not going to offer anything. They're going to try to run out the clock, because what they can see on the Republican side is panic and defections, even though there are stories about unity in the House. Without unity, the Republicans are going to crack. And ironically, Justice Ginsburg, one of the stalwart liberals on the court, in a speech he gave before she went on the court, talked about Roe v. Wade as stopping the natural evolution and sort of political acceptance of what was the mores changing on abortion, and that it caused all the strife. I think the one lesson is allow the process to develop through referenda, through popular vote. If there's a change in the culture, it'll happen. Do not impose a rule on the country from above, because if they impose on the country same-sex marriage, it'll cause exactly the kind of reaction on abortion. People will feel that they don't have a voice, and they should in a democracy.
All right, you won this week's Viewer's Choice. 74% of the vote goes to you. What's the question?
A landslide.
A landslide.
All right, the question is, in 3 months, will Bashar al-Assad be president of Syria, in exile in Iran or Russia, or dead?
And?
Correct answer is dead. And the reason is the Russians are trying, I think, now to work out a way to get him out, or asylum, and he might be seeking asylum. He's losing a lot of territory, military assets, and there's a sort of almost, the rebels are near Damascus. But I think what's going to happen, his own people, the Alawites, the militias he now is in command of, will likely kill him or the family if they try to escape. So I think the odds are he'll be dead.
Okay, is it A, dead? Is it B, living in Russia or Iran? Or C, still president of Syria?
I have to agree with Charles and say dead.
But I'm going to go with still president of Syria in 90 days.
Charles, how do you think it'll change things in the state of Michigan, which is the fifth heaviest union state in the country?
Well, it's showing you what's happening in the Rust Belt. You've already had this happen in Wisconsin. You've already happened in Indiana. The weakening of the grip of the unions. We saw when the autos went into collapse that the auto companies in the South, the transplants, did well because they weren't saddled with, but also union work rules, which are insane. So I think there's going to be a loosening of the grip of unions in the Rust Belt. There's a way to stay competitive.
Has been a Sunfish production.